The 2022 F1 season opener in Bahrain is just around the corner, and with it comes a whole host of changes to the greatest show on the road. New car regulations, new fuel, new tyres, new tracks and new drivers are just a few of the things to look forward to. Unfortunately, the beginning of the 2022 season is going to see some much loved parts of F1 changing. One of those things is going to be the Mercedes driver pairing of Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. After 5 seasons, totaling 100 races together, the two will be driving on different teams for the first time since 2016. After so long driving in Lewis Hamilton's shadow, can Valtteri Bottas now show how good he can be? And with all the secrets of their relationship now coming out, we'll find out if Valtteri's time at Mercedes was actually as happy as it seemed. Hey motorheads, glad to see you back on this racing track. Did you get road rage and need the scenic view of Formula 1 updates to relax? Then we're ready to drive you. So put on your seatbelts and join us as we chauffeur you through today's video. But before that, be that perfect speed freak by banging into the subscribe button. Alright, we're good to go. Valtteri Bottas will be starting the Sakhir Grand Prix in Bahrain behind the wheel of an Alfa Romeo. After spending 5 seasons at Mercedes, it's going to be odd for everyone to see Valtteri in anything other than the Mercedes livery. But I'm sure you're as excited as we are to see how his replacement George Russell performs. Valtteri's new teammate, Guan Yu Zhou, is a bit of a wild card for the 2022 season, meaning that Valtteri is going to carry a lot of responsibility in the Swiss team. This is going to be a huge change for the driver after years of being able to avoid the limelight behind Lewis Hamilton. And it's going to give him the opportunity to mentor the rookie driver Guan Yu during his first season in Formula 1. For Valtteri, this is going to be a big shift in the driver dynamic, and how he handles it could have huge consequences for Alfa Romeo's season. At Mercedes, Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton won the Constructors' Championship in every single season they drove together. On top of that, they shared the podium more times than any other teammates in F1 history, spraying champagne on each other an astonishing 53 times. After the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Valtteri was asked how he felt about leaving the team after so long. Now it's time for something new. I'm really proud and thankful for what we've achieved together. We've done great things. It wasn't maybe the best race to finish it, but you need to look at the big picture. You know, we've won 5 constructors. With Lewis, we've been the most successful teammate pairing in the history of Formula 1, so it's kind of sad to leave. But of course, I look forward to the future, he added. During their time at Mercedes, Valtteri and Lewis grew close as friends and teammates. When asked about Lewis losing the Drivers' Championship to Max Verstappen, he had this to say: "Of course we wanted to get both titles, and getting the Constructors again is huge. But at the same time, it hurts that Lewis didn't get the drivers, because even for me, I feel like I lost a championship because he lost it. I really feel gutted for him, because I feel like he deserved it. He had a great start, great race, and then things changed like this. But, you know, that's just sport. That's just how it is. Sometimes it goes against, sometimes it goes for. But today was not our day." Bottas may have been disappointed by how his time at Mercedes came to an end, but he can't dwell on that for long. With the 2022 season kicking off on the 20th of March in Bahrain, he needs to take everything he learned at Mercedes and put it into his new team at Alfa Romeo. Valtteri had some very tough times at Mercedes, and despite challenging Lewis regularly, he never consistently beat him. He was relegated to the role of wingman regularly, with the catchphrase "Valtteri, it's James" getting thrown into F1 meme videos everywhere. This catchphrase is a reference to the 2018 Russian Grand Prix in Sochi, where Valtteri was on a course for a win, but was asked to move out of the way for Lewis Hamilton to pass by James Vowles, the Mercedes chief strategist. These tough times have shaped Valtteri into the driver he is today. In an interview with GP fans since leaving Mercedes, he had this to say: "I've definitely learnt a lot about myself. I learned how this sport is so much more mental. If you really compare it's a physical or mental sport, I feel like it's so much more the head. Definitely I've learned just to accept mistakes and learn from mistakes. That learning part and being able to learn to be honest with myself, that's one big thing." Though the two drivers were great friends and allies in the public during their time racing together, since the two have split, there have been more penetrating insights into their relationship. In a shocking interview with The Race, Valtteri actually blamed Lewis for his perceived lack of success at Mercedes. It seems like a bit of time apart has given Valtteri time to reflect, and in true Nordic fashion, he is being brutally honest in his interviews now. In his interview with The Race, he said, "I honestly feel like on my best days, whether it's a race or qualifying, I'm unbeatable. But unfortunately, I don't always have these best days. I can't say I exceed anything. Where I feel like I failed, obviously I didn't manage to win the Drivers' Championship. But it wasn't simple alongside Lewis. He always got the upper hand. It's a very mental sport, and I think a strength of Lewis is the consistency and rarely having any off weekends in terms of performance." In the interview, Valtteri seems to voice some resentment towards Hamilton, probably in part due to how the team handled the two. Lewis Hamilton did always have the upper hand over Valtteri when it came to team decisions and racing decisions. The mental effect of this must have been huge on Valtteri, knowing that if there was ever a decision that's going to affect you both, the team will always choose the option that benefits Lewis the most. Going back to that Sochi 2018 race for a second, where Valtteri was asked to move over for Lewis, Toto Wolff, the Mercedes team principal, said in an interview after the race that Valtteri was a great wingman to Lewis Hamilton. How would you feel if you were told by your boss that you were a wingman to one of your colleagues? You'd feel like crap, right? Though Valtteri was an incredible teammate to Lewis Hamilton during their time at Mercedes, we don't expect him to afford Lewis any of the same luxuries he used to. The start of the 2022 season could bring some of the closest racing in Formula 1 history, with new cars and regulations specifically designed to make the races closer. Any of the teams on the grid could nail the design of their new car, meaning we could see a complete reshuffle in the F1 power rankings. Alfa Romeo could be one of those teams to make leaps forward in their car's competitiveness. If they manage to nail that new design, then we don't expect Valtteri to give Lewis an inch during the new season. Lewis is going to have to learn to pass him the hard way. So that's all the details on Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton's relationship as Formula 1 drivers. What's your opinion on the way that Valtteri was relegated to wingman by Mercedes? Will the two stay friends even though they're now on different teams? Or could we see a heated new rivalry begin to develop over the 2022 season? Drive on down to the comments section to share your opinion on the two. And while you make your way out of our pick box, make sure to leave a like and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any F1 news updates. Till we see you next time, drive safely and bye for now.